This chapter covers the courthouse being the first official building of legislation, the county commissioners as the county's legislative body and the sheriff enforcing what they decree.
Lecture 6, Article 4. Jurisdictional Boundaries. The legislature convenes as a liaison between the people and the government, and the executive enforces whatever the body of citizens through their representatives' distribution of taxes decree. The judiciary presides over those of the county and those from afar who have, will have, or have had irreconcilable differences within county jurisdiction. Irreconcilable may mean an undesired exchange of capital must be distributed or when no amount of capital may compensate for loss. As we enjoy our free will knowing that freedom comes at a cost, we also know that ignorance of the law is not a valid excuse. Thus, observing the law, it is incumbent of the citizen to keep him or herself abreast of new laws which may affect them. As law often mimics tradition, we find ourselves within the law more often than not, but it is no one's fault but our own, if laws change and we are caught following old practices. Law is set for the intended betterment of the whole or for the convenience of the majority, but we can't blame the judiciary for our familiarity or lack thereof of laws being enforced. The judiciary, like referees in a ball game, just observes the game, blowing whistles where there have been violations and penalizing players who've made infractions during play of the game. Only agreeing to the rules of football may the game commence. If the rules are not being followed, there would be anarchy, where being in bounds on the field and within the bounds of the rules is only when the game may commence. A cheating spouse is not within the bounds of a marriage, where an infidelity penalty will be imposed when truth is apparent. With the first official building of county legislation being the courthouse, the judiciary must remain without interruption. Where unable to amend the office of the judiciary, the Board of County Commissioners fills vacancies as the sheriff enforces the county charter as prima facie evidence. The county judiciary shall maintain its existing courts on the same course without interruption in the latest charter. In the event of a vacancy, the county commission shall by vote fill that position as soon as possible. With the first official building in the county being the courthouse, the interruption of the courts would mean an absence of order, and citizens may never be without governance in theory. The judiciary guarantees that order be recorded, maintained and enforced, where the absence of any member is also an absence in that court's jurisdiction, where courts are already backed up far enough. With each new case adding to others and all subject to judicial procedure, there is a constant influx of cases where all must be treated with the same amount of due diligence in prosecution and defense. Replacing them with haste, when judges' offices become vacant, the county commission of all the available candidates who appear qualified must make their decision on who should replace the individual who was voted to hold that position. As the seat of government rests in the judiciary's interpretation of the law, and without one in place to cover the influx of cases, the system wouldn't be as consistent. Adding portions of one's caseload to another is just not fair to the citizens who depend on a fair and functioning judicial system. Though able to fill a position, the county commission may not abolish divisions or alter compensation previously established. Neither may the county commission edit or effect any of the rules of court and evidence. The county commission's power to install magistrates, when inevitable vacancies arise, is void of its ability to affect the position's capacity, as the judiciary may not be diminished, its compensation reduced, nor its faculties decreased from what has been established by law. The commission, unable to edit the terms of the office, becomes subject to whomever they place in the vacant office, as the responsibility to execute the office is from one's duty to the law, where no incentive to select a judge may be other than his or her qualifications and experience practicing law. Just as any 12 jurors speak for every citizen in the United States, any judge whose duty to justice requires an honest, unbiased interpretation speaks from his or her vast research and evaluation of legal proceedings. With the same potential as his or her predecessor, transitioning has, is, and will be much more efficient for all parties involved, when attention is focused more so on law than the economics and politics which could interfere were these requirements to have gone unstated. A code containing the county charter is prima facie evidence in county courts, where officials and citizens should take judicial notice. The chief law enforcement officer has the responsibility of enforcing ordinances of the county on its citizens with as much force as he or she may. We are all human and bound to make mistakes where, when prosecution and judiciary could overlook an instance, the defense sees quite clearly, so every courtroom is furnished with the prima facie article of law in the county charter. Law written therein is the only denominating factor in any case, as if the position of prosecution and the judiciary in any county court can't be appealed to a higher court for further clarification of the law in that instance. We rely on law to sleep well at night, where, when we are asleep, the chief law enforcement officer has the responsibility of ensuring that criminals are separated from society. Furthest from judging the law, the sheriff from his or her duty to the law, and their families and friends who sleep well while they are at work are the judge's hands in the war against injustice. For the innocent victim, fear disappears when the sheriff is present, as truth spews from their mouths. The body moves with the legislature, but with the first official building of county administration being the courthouse, the judiciary grounds the county and connects the citizenry to the land. This connection with the land is defined within county jurisdiction. Morality within county jurisdiction must be maintained without interruption, where the county commission fills all vacancies as soon as possible. Unable to amend the judiciary, the county commission installs the superior office, but as representatives of the residents, who else would we expect? The sheriff physically enforces the county charter as per order of the judiciary.